Alex Mullen to make it 3-1 in the grand final. Puts in the penalty and wins the grand final for Campbelltown City.
No one attacks it, comes back off the Fernandez. It's a goal! It's Tom! Oh! And then Talisman's got another one. Derby City back quick. Jake King down, what a shot! My goodness me! Oh, can't teach that sort of stuff. Sends it in, keeps it low, and it's gone in! It's gone in! LA Uni have scored in time added. Tries to get under control, and the shot from Tolland! Salisbury into a 2-0 up!
Still Butler with another chance, it's 2-1 to Playford! Persistence has paid off for Playford!
Long touch to the keeper, pushes it into the bottom corner. Beach gives him a shoulder after that as well. He's lost his clean sheet, and he's lost his head with a red card! David, this is massive!
Hello and welcome to episode 6 of One Game at a Time for the year 2025. I am, as always, Seb O'Neill, joined by my 3 ever so regular co-hosts. Well, they're not regular. They're amazing. Starting off, introducing Mark Talbot. Mark, I have 2 questions for you this week. 1, what is your dream job? And 2, what is your favourite Olympic sport to watch?
Good evening, Seb. Good evening, everyone. All right, 2 questions. And you know what? You would have thought I would have prepared for one of them, don't you, Seb?
Yes.
You really thought I would have prepared, but no, I didn't. Dream job as a kid was always a pro footballer. Never got there, but that was the dream job, was a pro footballer. What was the other question?
Your favourite Olympic sport to watch?
Favourite Olympic sport to watch? Football.
Oh, that's, you can't know. Okay, other than football.
Other than football. I don't know, because I actually don't watch the Olympics. I watch it for the football, and that's it. I don't really watch it for any other reason. Yeah, no, I don't watch it for any other reason.
What a great start. Also joined by David Grant. David, same questions to you, and how are you?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good.
Can't remember the questions. What were they again?
What's your dream job and your favourite Olympic sport to watch?
So, dream job has changed over the years. As a youngster, it would have been to be a professional footballer or a professional musician. And nowadays, I've dropped the former, but I still have ambitions for the latter. So my dream job would be to be a successful musician. What's the second question?
And your favourite Olympic sport to watch? That's not football, because that's a cop-out answer.
I'm a rugby union man outside of soccer or football. Is rugby union played at the Olympics?
I think it's rugby sevens at the Olympics.
I'm not fussed at the sevens.
I was going to say, does that?
Yeah, I like my 15 aside. So Olympics, what's the one that Ray Gun did, that break dancing thing? That's my favourite sport to watch at the Olympics.
You're going to be disappointed because it's not coming back.
I'm actually starting a campaign to have it. I'm behind Ray Gun, and I'm starting a campaign to make sure that it's at the next Olympics in Paris. Where are the next ones?
LA.
Yep, Los Angeles, City of the Angels. Go Ray Gun. Go breakdancing or breaking.
Yep, fair enough. And finally, Alessio Carocci. Alessio, how are you? And same questions to you as well. You are muted, by the way. Just reminding you before we start.
Yeah, I'm good, Seb. Great to be with you right from the off this week as well, which is nice and good. Obviously, my dream job, as most of the other guys here, would have been to be a professional soccer player. And my favourite sport to watch at the Olympics, you didn't specify which Olympics, so I'm going to go with curling.
Oh.
Well played.
Reasoning?
Well played.
Do you know what? That's the best answer, because it's not like when I said Olympic sport, I meant something like a bit more like if someone said weightlifting, not like your normal sports, but curling's good. Why curling though?
I was going to say, I don't really like sports in the Olympics that have leagues around the world. So that's why, but I don't know. It's just very fun to watch, and it's like it's a very interesting sport to watch. So I'm waiting for the Winter Olympics to watch that. But I would say either that, or is it Is it called bobsledding? The one that go around the like
Yeah,
runnings,
that's
mate.
bobsled.
Cool running.
bobsledding? Yeah. Okay. They're the two then. Yeah. Because most
I
of
would
the
imagine.
sports in the Summer Olympics nowadays you can watch weekly. So
I would imagine you could train for curling by mopping your mother's floor for her. Couldn't you? Isn't that when they kind of do all?
sweeping.
Yeah, getting a
sweeping
Roomba,
the-
get a Roomba, and just broom in front of it.
That's your training.
Yeah, so good answers there. One a boring sport, one a sport that's boring again, and one technically doesn't count because it's Winter Olympics, but we'll let it slide because at least it's a decent answer.
Because it was on ice.
Yeah, exactly. Starting off with our picks as we always do, I will go first. I was interested this week in the Oceanic World Cup qualifiers. There were semi-finals. New Zealand played against Fiji and Tahiti played against New Caledonia in the semi-finals. New Caledonia and New Zealand went through to the final, which was the game that I watched. And it was really competitive. It was a really entertaining game to watch. New Caledonia into it for about an hour pretty much, and they pretty much defended for their life for the whole 60 minutes. I think this is a bit coming up here where they showed their desperation. New Zealand really trying to score and then saved once. Oh no, this isn't it. I think it's the next time around. But I think it's this one here. So yeah, the ball comes in, trying to get it in, cleared off the line, then by the goalkeeper, cleared off the line again, and then booted away. It was incredible to watch. I was rooting for New Caledonia the whole time. Chris Wood couldn't score, and he also came off injured. So that shows the power of New Caledonia. But I think my main point here is basically about how big, I guess, Oceania is growing as a continent. They have that 1.5 spots now for the World Cup qualifying. Of course, New Zealand now going automatic, and then New Caledonia will have to go through the Intercontinental Playoff League thing that they're doing. But even that, I was looking into it. There's the FIFA have their own streaming platform called FIFA Plus, and they're heavily pushing Oceanic football. You can watch all. What is it here? You can watch all Oceanic Champions League games from all around the islands. They've got youth championships, men's and women's futsal championships, their beach soccer championships, all for free, which I think is a really good thing to see. They're bringing in an OFC professional league, which will be really good to see for those sides around the islands, and even some teams from Australia looking to enter that as well. And I think it's especially important that we've got quite a few Oceanic players, mainly Vanuatu and Solomon Islands here in South Australia as well. David,
do we know who New Caledonia go on to play, or what continent it is that they have their playoff with?
So from my understanding, they, along with any other teams that don't finish top 2 of their league or whatever it is around the world, go into basically a mini tournament in one of Mexico, Canada, the USA, and they play against each other. So New Caledonia could play against. Well, it's not confirmed yet. I think New Caledonia are the only team that have been confirmed to go into that intercontinental playoff. So it can be anyone from Asia, CONMEBOL, CONCACAF, all the confederations. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. And I don't think they'll be embarrassed. I don't think they'll make it through, but I don't think they'll be embarrassed, which I think is a very good thing to see. Just them advancing forward, especially in Oceanic football, just getting stronger and stronger. Who's next? Alessio, we'll go on to you.
Yep. So I always just wanted to, I think it might have been a couple of weeks ago that I gave the props to Sturt for the great start they had probably after the 8-2 win. But I just think they're heading in the right direction at the moment. The way that they're playing as well, I'm sure if a lot of people can go out to their games or watch on live stream, they've gone to some old school football, 4-4-2. They've got a big man up top if they need. They've got a little man running in behind. And it just seems to be all working at the moment for John Fusco. Obviously, only wins under his tenure at the moment, but just the way some of these goals are going in, it's what you want against some of these stubborn State League 1 defences are counted as well. They've had 4 headed goals in the opening 4 rounds. 3 of them have been to Nathan Munro as well. And in a player that hasn't started all the games so far, but he's found his way into the lineup now. But they're 4 from 4. They're keeping clean sheets, home and away. They've got obviously the cup coming up this week against Tea Tree Gully, so I'm sure we might predict that and see if they might get a couple more goals on the end of it. But I just think it's refreshing to see that teams are playing and putting crosses in the box and actually getting dividends from it, not just playing out the back for the sake of it, going long when they need to. It's a refreshing way of football that I'm sure a lot of players who play currently will probably prefer to play in, that they not have to be structured by so many rules playing and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good to see, and hopefully they go on further and further.
Absolutely, will be very interesting to see where they are at come season's end. Mark, on to you.
My pick of the week would be, I think it was the FK Grad Metro game. It was top versus bottom, and a surprising result. Everyone was picking Metro to win in their current form, and FK Grad come away with the 2-1 win. So for me, it was just highlights the fact that in this league, anyone can beat anyone on their day. Cooper Nunn obviously scoring there early for FK Beergrad, 15 minutes in. They took the 2-0 lead, and David can attest to this. We've been saying this pretty much every week, that FK Beergrad are starting really well, but they're not able to hold it for 90 minutes. And this week they managed to score the second one. Fro there getting brought down in the box and winning the penalty. And holding out for the full 90. I mean, they did concede very late to an Owen Windsor goal, just quietly. It was a fantastic run and goal by Owen Windsor as well. But it just shows that anyone can beat anyone. I also thought Metro were probably lucky to keep 11 men on the park at one stage, but that's why I'm not a ref. And but no, like I said, it's just a great result for FK. Gets them off and running, and it'd be great. It would be great for them to string some wins together. And like I said, I just think it's really just showing this league can be tough, and that you get a win and you'll jump up the league, and how close it can actually be. And anyone can, like I said, anyone can beat anyone on their day.
Yep, absolutely. Very, very interesting result, and I'm sure Beergrad looking for more coming in the weeks, especially. David, on to you. You've got a few for us this week, which makes me very excited.
Yeah, so normally I struggle for ideas, and this week I've got 3 ideas. So I'll talk quickly about the local game, because I guess that's our primary focus, and Barculla and Adelaide Croatia Raiders game. As the teams came out, we had a little moment. Well, we didn't have a little moment, but Yohei Matsumoto had a little moment as the teams lined up, the customary lining in front of the cameras. And Matsumoto on the far right of the screen there. For those who can't see this, he's on the far right of the screen waving to some friends in the crowd. Meanwhile, the rest of his teammates are making their way along the line, shaking hands with the referees, the assistant referees and the rest of the players, before Matsumoto gets the cue from the onlookers that he'd forgotten to make his way over to shake hands, and briskly sprinted over. So that was my humorous moment number 1. And then it was like, it's a visual thing. It just makes me laugh. And then the second one was at the game that Seb and I were at on Friday night. It was Adelaide Comets, and they were taking on the Parahills Knights. And it was a very tightly contested match. And towards the end of the match, Kurukomana had made his way over to the sideline to have a chat with the coaching bench. And one of the assistants at the side, the assistant referee at the side, Joseph Bajeski, was standing where he's perfectly entitled to stand at the halfway line, monitoring proceedings as Kurukomana makes his way over to the sideline. And Kurukomana is discussing obviously something tactical or strategic with the bench that he didn't not only want Adelaide Comets to hear, but he also didn't want Joseph Baczewski, the assistant referee, to hear. And I think we've got a little bit of audio there that's been picked up, Seb, if you've got the cue. So basically, what Kurukomana is saying to Joseph Baczewski is, I'm trying to tell him a secret.
I ushered the linesman away, or the assistant referee away, because I'm trying to tell him a secret. Who is it? I can't.
Kurukomana.
Kurukomana. Please, I'm trying to tell him a secret.
Yes, as the assistant referee is sure to tell the other team all your tactics.
That's right. It's the first thing the assistant referee is going to do is take your tactics, write them down, and then run them over to the other side of the bench. I'm trying to tell him a secret. Did you ever think you'd hear that in a football game from a player?
to an assistant referee of all people as well?
Yeah.
Makes sense like a coach or something. But
Yeah, so in summary, I'm not really sure what Kurkamana felt Joseph Bajeski was going to do with any information he'd inadvertently heard, but I don't think the assistant referee, the assistant linesman, I call him linesman still, was going to do anything with that information. So it was just a very funny moment that happened just below us. And my third point, are you ready, Seb?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm ready.
So my third point is I just wanted to tell you a little story about a friend of mine, Keith McAllister is his name. He's a Queen's Park fan, and I've known him for many years, although we obviously don't see a lot of each other these days, unfortunately, because I'm here and he's there. But Keith made the headlines around the time of the COVID virus because the COVID outbreak, because he hadn't missed a Queen's Park competitive match, that's Queen's Park in the Scottish Championship, since 1979. And when the COVID virus broke out in the UK, he was unable to travel to matches, as everyone was at that point in time. But when games started back up, the club reached out to him and got him on their commentary team. So Keith was able to go to matches and continue his unbroken run of attending Queen's Park matches since 1979, which at the time was just over 40 years. It's approaching 45 years. So Keith is also a Scotland fan. And last week got himself on an airplane to Athens to watch Scotland playing in that Nations playoff game in the stadium in Athens. And the picture there shows where the away fans were. They're all in an area where there's a big, massive piece of netting that encloses the fans so that the home support are refrained from throwing objects at the away support. I think it's more of an issue when Greek teams are playing in the domestic league. But anyway, what Keith had to do was he had to get himself from Athens to Greenock in Scotland for Queen's Park's game against Greenock Morton, a league game on the Saturday afternoon. So rather than booking a flight from Athens to Scotland, there was only one in the days between the game finishing in Athens and the Morton game. He didn't want to take a chance on some of these unreliable European airlines cancelling their flights, because if that happened, he would be stranded potentially and wouldn't be able to get to the Queen's Park game. So Keith had booked himself a flight on Friday night from Athens to Dublin. And the reasoning behind that was that if he got to if a flight to Dublin was cancelled, there were multiple other flights that he could potentially jump on to Dublin. So he booked himself on a flight to Dublin and arrived at 2 or 3 in the morning on Saturday morning, stayed in the airport for about 3 or 4 hours, and then caught a connecting flight from Dublin to Glasgow, had his breakfast in Glasgow, and then got the train out to Morton and was at Capello Stadium in Greenock to watch Queen's Park, getting beat in the cold and the wet by Morton. But what an adventure, Keith, and well done you. I just wanted to mention that to everyone because I just love seeing his stories online and so on. So that's Keith McAllister. Shout out to you.
So the moral of the story is there, no matter how much you try, you still might lose.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What an adventure.
Absolutely. That is our picks done. Up next, we have our interview, which we did. David and Alessio unable to attend, so me and Mark, we took the reins, didn't we?
Well, we tried to.
Yeah, we tried to. We think it went pretty well.
Tried to. We did all right.
Yeah, I think we did all right. So here is that interview. Well, Mark, it's just me and you for this pre-record, this Tuesday night. Hope you've had a lovely past as we watch this. Well, watch this from the live broadcast. Has it been nice enough for you?
It's been good, mate. It has been. It's lovely to look back at the past and see and reflect.
What was your dinner? What was your dinner for tonight?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Don't want to know?
You do not want to know. No, I had mince slices for dinner.
Oh,
so
dinner of champions.
Dinner of champions. That's right. You know it.
Champions. Oh, it's the knock on the door, Mark.
I get the door this evening.
I think you have the honour of answering it this evening.
I get the door.
All right, you get the door. You go get the door. Must be an honour for Mark to get to open the door for the first time? How was that? Was it an honour to open it for the first time?
It was actually. I see why David loves it, and I've got Tom Monsigneur with me.
How are you, Jeff? Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Delighted to, very, very well. Delighted to have you on. Gonna have a great chat all together. Mark,
Another
you wouldn't
one
believe
already.
it. You wouldn't believe
on?
it. You get to answer it twice in one night.
I know.
Oh,
Give me 1 second.
what a time to be alive! Oh my! Isn't this great, Tom? Isn't this wonderful?
Yeah, the suspense is killing me.
The suspense. Who was it, Mark?
This is brilliant. We also have Robin Price.
Yeah.
Wow! What a delight to have both of you on. Yes, lovely to have both of your company. Thank you for taking the time out to have a chat with us. I suppose just starting out for the both of you, just giving, I guess, people who may not know you as well, both of your footballing backgrounds, your journey to where you are now. Tom, we'll start with you.
Yes, I played at a fairly average level. Yeah, I played a fair bit down south and got into coaching probably 20 years ago, and more recently been around the WNPL and spent a bit of time with Metro Stars last year, and WNPL with Comets a couple of years ago, and then in the role of head coach at Flinders United, which has been fantastic stuff. So, that's about me.
And then Robin, for you.
I started playing when I was young in a small little town in Canada, and then played university sport in Canada all through my nursing degree, and then was lucky enough to find myself in Adelaide, and found Flinders, which has been great.
I suppose there is a follow-up question. How do you find yourself here in Adelaide and at Flinders?
I've gotten that question a lot. My partner actually got into medicine here, so he got in here and we just kind of said, okay, we'd never been anywhere in Australia, and showed up in Brisbane and everyone kind of said, why are you going to Adelaide? But we're super glad we're in Adelaide. It's been great. Yeah, we're from a small town, as I said, so it's been really nice. Yeah.
Very, very good to hear. Mark, for you?
Okay. I'll jump in here. Tom, I'm going to jump to you with the question because you, as you mentioned, you've been around the traps. A lot of people know you've been around a long time. How's it feel going, especially obviously your background with a lot of clubs that have been multi sort of like men's and women's clubs? How have you found the transition into a women's only club? Has that been a big change, or is that sort of what you expected? What's your feel there?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what I kind of expected, but it's definitely been different. But I've really loved it. I think it's been really engaging. I've kind of been accepted in almost from day one. And probably over the last few years, I've probably connected in and around women athletes and female athletes maybe a little bit better. So even in my work at sports college, we were lucky enough. So I work in the cricket program there. We were lucky enough to win the statewide knockout for the boys and girls today. And one of those things was connecting with the girls there as well. But I've really loved it. I feel like I can get a better connection. And even like I was up at the club tonight, just helping a couple of juniors with some stuff, and the amount of young girls that are playing up there is phenomenal. Like, I didn't realise how big the club is. We've got 6 community teams. We've got every junior age group, got every mini Roos age group, and then a WNPL and a WNPL reserve team. So I probably didn't realise how big it was, and how, like, considering their position and where there's other clubs close by, Bacalla not far, Sturt just up the road, South Adelaide's not too far where you are, Mark. I was genuinely blown away by the amount of girls that were playing. I knew that, like, through my time at Football Australia, I knew it was a big club, and we tried to do a few things there. So sort of had some dealings with some of the committee there, but I had no idea how big it was. and just how much of a community it is. I'm sure that Robin would say the same thing. She's not been there very long either, but it's just a really great community. And you see how many faces, how many smiles on faces and things like that when I was walking around tonight. It's unbelievable.
I suppose the follow-up question to you, Robin, is what is it like being at Flinders as a player? It sounds like a very, very busy but a very nice place to be around.
Yeah, I love it. I'm right from the get-go. I found everyone was super friendly and welcoming, and obviously I moved here, didn't know anyone. So now I've created kind of a community, and all the girls are friends, and we can go out and do things other than soccer together, which is super nice. But I'd also never been a part of a club that was female only, and yeah, as Mark said, just cool to see that every level and age group, everyone's out there playing and having a good time and supporting each other. Yeah. And nothing but great things to say about the committee and coaching staff. We're super lucky Tom joined us.
Well, you have to say that.
Yeah, I was going to say good.
Listening, so that's all good. And the coach is listening, so that's all good.
Good one putting that in. I suppose this question for the both of you: what are the expectations, at least for the first team for this WNPL season? You've had a decent start so far. Probably been unlucky in your 2 losses. I think you played brilliantly against Adelaide Comets and perhaps we're just a little bit behind against NTC on the weekend. But had a great win against Campbelltown as well. I suppose where do you see yourself wanting to be come season's end? Starting with you, Tom.
I hope Robin went first then, but I haven't put a ceiling. I haven't put a ceiling on it. To be honest, I don't know what the ceiling is for this group. Like, I think they've really taken on some feedback really well. I think against Comets, we probably, an 8.5, 9 out of 10, probably in and around that game. Against Campbelltown, we probably went to another level. We spoke about consistency, and I think against NTC, we're probably at sort of 7, 8 out of 10, I think is where we sort of got to. But I know, Seb, you commentated that game and you were floating around that. We were in it in parts, a couple of things that let us down. And I think that's the way it's going to be. So the sky's the limit. Like, I don't want to put limitations on it. Obviously, we don't want to be down the bottom, but I know that that's probably spoken around the community, and we probably won't hide away from that. But yeah, I don't want to put a limit on it because anything's possible. This group's phenomenal. We're also led outstandingly by probably one of the best players to ever play in the WNPL in South Australia in Cote, which obviously makes a huge difference. And she's fantastic around the group. And she obviously gives that cutting edge. The goal she scored on the weekend, she about 4 people who poked it to the top roof of the net, was phenomenal. I think I turned to one of the coaches and went, "Was she kidding?" So the sky's the limit. Like, I don't want to put a limit on it. But what we do want to be fighting towards the top and not worrying about what happens behind us. With 5 or 6 games to go, I want to be at the point where we're looking at, can we make the playoffs, or can we be in and around those final spots, not worrying about what's happening underneath us? So, and I think that's how we grow as a club. 3rd year in the WNPL, really, really difficult to come up, and done really, really well. But I hope that I can take it to another level.
And then, Robin, for you that, and then also, I guess, following on from getting to play alongside Cote now as well, must be a really nice experience for both.
Yeah. No, I agree with Tom. Just, seeing where we can get to. I think we definitely have potential in those first 3 games. Obviously, we played really well in the second game. But I think the other 2 games we definitely can build on. And I think it's that 90-minute game, making sure we're on for that entire time will be really important going forward. But yeah, playing with Cote has been super fun. A lot of the girls played with her 2 years ago and had nothing but amazing things to say about her last year. And I'm glad I get to meet her, and even better, get to play with her. She's super positive, and she's always kind of giving us some feedback, which is, always welcomed. And she just knows the game so well. And getting to watch her do things like that goal this weekend was pretty fun. Yeah,
I must say it is quite fun to commentate that, especially. I remember multiple times during the match, whenever she really had the ball, I reckon she had about 4 or 5 NTC players just surrounding her with no one else really as an option for her. It's quite extraordinary. Mark, to you?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, Robin, the differences. Obviously, you've played college ball and things like that. How have you found the transition and the differences between what you have been used to playing compared to the WNPL levels wise? Is it more physical? Is it more football based? That type of thing. How have you found that transition and the game here in SA?
Yeah, I wouldn't say the football has been too much different, except for some of the lingo. I like to call things bibs, and no one knows what I'm talking about. They're pennies. There's a couple little things like that, but other than that, I would say the clubs is just different how they run. Like ours was obviously based on going to university, but so we were practicing every day, and it was just a little more like full on. Versus this is kind of cool where you can live your life, you can do your job, you can work, and you can still continue to play, which is pretty cool. People having kids and then jumping back in and playing, which is, I think it's pretty cool. Yeah. And the level of soccer here has been, it's been great. It's, physical. There's teams like NTC that are filled with all the young kids, and so every game feels different.
I will touch on that. What other lingo has there been that either you've had to get your head around or they've had to get their head around when you speak it?
Well, the big one was that Tom was laughing at me was the snags at the barbecue. The Bunnings barbecue snags.
Oh, yeah, the Bunnings barbecue. Yeah, she had to get a lesson in how to put a sausage diagonally across the piece of bread.
Yeah.
Into it. Why would you have a hot dog bun if you're not going to use it?
Any other direction is wrong.
Yeah.
Anything else really that's, I guess, sort of bemused you about Adelaide or Australia yet as well?
Oh, there's so many little things, but honestly, having a hard time thinking of them right now. If they come to me, I'll let you know.
Fair enough. Another thing for the club as well, in a few weeks, we'll play their first ever game in the WNPL at Flinders. It'd be really exciting, I think, to actually have a home game there. Good to see. I think a lot more clubs around both the men's leagues and the women's league actually starting to play at their home grounds rather than having to play at, a neutral venue like Service FM or the Parks or wherever else it may be. I suppose how big is it for a club, I guess, for the both of you, Robin and Tom, in two different ways, to actually be able to play at your home ground, be in your own familiar surroundings, be able to, after the game, go into your club rooms, have a chat, not have to be, moved away or rushed out after half an hour after kickoff. How exciting is that in prospect?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I know they're working really hard with Mitcham Council to get some fencing up. I don't know that's probably the stumbling block, but our facilities are really good. Our change rooms, those sorts of things. I know for me personally, having a carload of gear for a match day and having to take it up to Service FM and drive that 45 minutes from my place, although it's not horrific, it's all right. But having to take just one backpack out from home would be fantastic. If I could do that every second week, that would be brilliant. And then just having home, like even in our change rooms, when we do some video sessions, we do a few other things. I don't know, it just feels like home. It feels like home. I don't know how you feel, Robin, but it feels like my really happy place. And going in there and you get a bit of a view over the city as the sun goes in. It's actually quite nice. In summer when it's been really, really hot, and here you got the hill a little bit, there's a breeze. And it would be fantastic to have that long term and make it a bit of a fortress. Would be really, really good. I know there's a lot of water to go under the bridge in between now and then. There's a shared facility as well. So there's some issues in and around there as well, which, every club, a lot of clubs have. But I know that they're working really, really hard to try and get that in because then we can get more of a community. In some of the pre-season games we have up there, that obviously you didn't know the fencing and a few other things. There's heaps of people around. Again, he's making money and people sort of outside having a beer or having a drink after the game is really, really nice. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it. I'm sure about you, Robin. Hopefully you.
Yeah, just totally. Yeah, the getting to play where you're practicing, I feel like that's super beneficial for us, which is pretty sweet. Not having to drive is definitely an added bonus. I think everyone loves it. I think we'll probably attract a lot more of the younger girls from our program, which is kind of cool. Getting getting them out, hopefully watching, and a little more spectators when they don't have to drive as far either, which is nice, and hopefully some future WNPL players.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark?
I was just going to say how playing that game at home, obviously, you'll be able to then introduce your juniors to the WNPL players and hopefully build that gap that's probably there at the moment because they're not coming out to watch. That probably just bridges that gap where you can go, oh, cool. Like if you've got all your juniors trained on a Friday night and you're playing at home on a Friday night, how much better that will be that they're all there. I mean, Tom, you've seen it in the past at South Adelaide when they keep all their juniors there on a Friday night for their games. What that could do for your club is not just those players, but then those parents stay, then they not only have a drink, but they buy food and things like that. And what that then does for the committee going, wow, we've got all this income coming in. It means you can upgrade facilities or buy VOs if you need them and things like that. So it's a massive, massive thing for the club moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And those benefits, I mean, we see them, last year was at Metro, the 16s and 17s group and at TK Shuttle when they played on a Friday night. There was people everywhere. There was kids everywhere. There was drums and there was, a whole heap of things. Creating that would be a great environment. We do some other things to try and bridge that sort of gap as well. Like even this week, we've got a bit of a week off. So the girls are coming in an extra night on Thursday and having a bit of a World Cup with all the 12s to 17s. They've obviously started their season, first year of the licensee. And, that's obviously looking a lot different. But I'm really looking forward to Thursday night. And I reckon I've got 85-90% of the WNPL players that are coming, which is outstanding. To be honest, I thought if we got 50%, that'd be great. But I'm really looking forward to that. And they do some other really good things in and around engaging, the senior players and then the community players through to the junior players as well. So, obviously want to have that because we want to be having the best juniors come through, and we're starting to do that with the reserve girls. There's a few 16 and 17-year-olds that have done really well and been juniors for a while. The big thing is they can't be what they can't see. So if they don't see WNPL, then it's for them to even sort of have a look at that. I mean, we're online and we do other bits and pieces, but if they can see it live and see these sorts of things. I remember when I was a kid doing the same thing. You wanted to be there. Like it was a short-term goal, but you wanted to be there. So, I think that's really important.
No, that's brilliant. I love that.
Thanks.
Robin, to you, I guess a bit more about you as a person to play. As a journalist, I did my research on the both of you, and I did find some stuff on you. Apparently, when you were younger, you were a multi-sport athlete. You were a gymnast. What else is that? You did cross country. You played volleyball, and I don't know what this means. Raced downhill. What is racing downhill mean?
I think I was probably referring to downhill ski racing.
Okay. It just says race downhill.
Jeez. That's a broad range right there.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose my question is if you didn't become a footballer, which of those would have you taken up? You almost second best at almost.
Yeah. I went pretty far in gymnastics actually. I was with the BC team, so that was pretty fun. Or it would have been the state team. But that one just did my body in, like the back injuries and all the things. I wasn't very flexible, so it's probably good for the rest of my life that I didn't continue that one.
So when you scored no backflips then?
Not anymore. I used to. On the beam, I do backflips or
maybe get the corner flag and put it sideways and then maybe do some beam stuff. I suppose just finally, unless Mark, you have anything else, of course you've got a week break. I'll ask you as well whether that you think that's a good thing or a bad thing. And then you've got Salisbury Inter coming up as well. Another interesting team, a team who last year, almost in similar fashion, not picking up too many results early on and then sort of towards the end of last season, won the grand final. I suppose, that two-part question. would you rather not have a break? Do you like having the break? And then I guess how do you see the game against Salisbury intergoing in about 2 weeks' time?
You can go first this time, Robin.
Yeah, I don't think the break's a bad thing. I mean, we're still training, and I know all the girls are still doing their own thing, training on their own time, and a couple of people were a little bit sore, so I don't think it's a bad thing. I do think it's important that we keep up our fitness and all the other little things in the meantime while we, get ready, because there's another game next week, and it is an important game. And we all know that we want to improve from our last game. Yeah. And to new teams like Salisbury, last year they had a great finish, and I'm sure it'll be a challenging game. But I think we're up for it, and I think we need to approach every game just, ready to kind of play at our best and not make any game easy for any team. Mark's.
There was the opportunity. There was an opportunity for such the cliche, but it would have led straight to our show, which was, we're going to take one game at a time, and you didn't take it. It was there, and I was like, she's going to take it. No.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, do you want to try and fit it in?
I would break it down even more than that. But anyway, no, I won't. But no, I think the break's actually come at a decent little time for us. We had a really good session last night. It was a little bit different. We combined with a few other things, combined with some of the reserve girls, and got a bit of a bigger squad happening last night. Bit of a deload week. So tomorrow we'll work on some specific stuff. And again, work in sort of position. So you'll be able to work with. There'll be some midfield defensive work across both the reserves and the seniors, and the same with the attackers. And there'll be some stuff in there. So it gives you a week to try a few different things, I think. But then from, like I said, we've got a thing on Thursday, a little mini World Cup. But then from Thursday to Monday, you don't think about football. And then we'll come back in Monday and we'll work really, really hard. And we've got a game to Saturday. So have a Monday, Wednesday session that can be pretty physical, and we can get a fair bit done. And do a lot of planning for Inter. Carl, sets his teams up really, really well, always has, at whatever level he has. So to be able to have a bit of extra time to prepare that is going to be really, really good. Inter, a team that, I know they only won their first time on the weekend this season, but they can go and beat anyone. Great players at every single spot. I mean, they've got Haruna up front who, 2 years ago won the Shirley Brown and was the best player in the league, and people like Jasmine Stiles in the middle of the park who's a star, and then their defence is fantastic, and their goalkeeper Matilda's outstanding as well. So it's going to be another challenge, but the week off's been really good for us. We'll go and take that one game at a time and get stuck into it.
Mark knows Tom knows every single player. I don't know anyone out there.
That's all right. Don't worry. We get to know most of them. We have to.
I just thought of one more as well for you, Tom. You've been involved, I guess, in the WNPL for quite a few years now. How have you seen the progression of the league as a whole, I guess, in your coaching timeline from then to now, whether it be the quality, the professionalism, whatever else it may be?
Yeah, I think the professionalism is a big one. The professionalism, and then what's being invested behind the scenes. Like, I know a lot of coaches are now like having extra effort. Like, I think there's maybe been a few things where we've brought some video stuff in. I'm not sure that happened last year, Robin, but having that sort of thing in, and like I have a couple of people that do some stuff in and around there. We've got more resources as far as coaches around there, whereas in the past you might have had a coach and an assistant and not much else. Those sorts of things are making a big difference, and players do that as well. I know the players feel that, the professionalism. I think this year's looking really, really even. I think there is probably 3 clear teams, but we've probably played 2 of them, I think, that are going to finish at the top. But that's not discounting anyone else, because Metro are flying. Adelaide Uni have been doing really, really well. So I just think the gaps between teams has got a lot better. Like I know there was a couple of times a couple of years ago when we put a few past teams, when Fulham went down, and there's a couple of them like that. I feel like the teams that have come up have been better prepared, have realised they need to invest, and then have gone from there. So they've invested not only in players but in support staff and in all the other things around the place. So I feel like the professionalism has gone up, and so the competition is going to be closer. And I reckon we've seen that already. Even like Pacala have been really, really good, and they have played 2 of the 3 better teams. And haven't got a point. So it's going to be really, really hard, and I think it's fantastic. You're not going to be able to predict things as easy as maybe you would have in the past. And I don't think we're going to see too many runaway leaders either. So I think that'll be really, really good.
Yeah, already looking very, very competitive. Mark, anything else from you to finish us off?
Yes.
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things to finish it off.
That's
I need to know. I need to know if these are true. All right. Right. What's your dream job, Robin? Or what was your dream job? Let's see what we've got here.
This is what university sport is. All these dumb little.
We do our study. That's what I'm saying. What was your dream job?
Oh.
So I need to know if this is true.
I don't think it is. What did I put way back then?
Your dream job is
we read out loud.
Is an astronaut.
Was it?
Yep. An astronaut.
Do you
remember what your favorite show was? I'm going back. What are we going back? 6 years now. 5 and 6 years. What your favorite show was? The Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
Does that stay true?
You're a big Wallowitz fan. Wanted to be an astronaut like Wallowitz. Is that right?
I'm lying. I'm here to be an astronaut. I'm in training. Not actually a nurse.
And this actually this actually makes sense. Actually, this next one is, if you could dine with any celebrity, who would it be?
Oh, I do not. Was it Sean Johnson?
It was Sean Johnson, former US gymnast. So
nice.
And
so at least one of your answers was true. At least that's good to know.
Now that you've been in Oz for a little while now, is it still Jeopardy that your favorite show that you want to go on to? Because we do have other shows here in SA or in Australia that you might have changed your mind.
Oh yeah, I don't those kind of shows. I really don't have an answer for you. Let's pass that on to Tom. What would your show be, Tom?
Tipping Point. 100% Tipping Point. Get me on there with Todd Woodridge. Yeah, I'll be all over it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And there's 2 other things.
Little Tipping Point chocolate machines in the pub where you put $1 in, and you can get the.
Oh, my kids love those.
Give me 100 caramel koalas. Fantastic. Yeah.
And I've got to find out if this is true, because if so, this is pretty impressive. Face to face with a grizzly bear.
Oh, that is true. As a child, we were canoeing out camping. Yes, and that was scary. Scary moment. What was the answer? What was the question?
Impressive. It just says the most offbeat thing that has ever happened to you, and it's standing face to face with a grizzly bear. Now that is impressive. Tell you what, no player in the league is going to scare you as much as that grizzly bear.
Tell you
that right now. Not even Tom will scare you that much.
What would you prefer, like a crocodile, a brown snake, or a grizzly bear? What do you got?
Definitely grizzly bear.
Okay, all right, cool.
I don't know what I need.
So Australia's still scaring you, that's all right.
Yeah.
Last one for me. It says here, your advice to rookies. Do you remember what that was? And I tell you what, you'll probably be making many of these now that you've moved to Australia. It is make as many memories as you can and have a blast.
There you go.
I reckon you're doing that in Oz.
I wrote real quick.
Well, we find out what we can on this show.
I appreciate it.
I'm glad you sent me that information, because I didn't know any of this information.
Yeah, I'm glad you could remind me. We can tell all the rookies now, Tom.
Yeah.
I can send it through to you. That's not a problem.
Thank you for that, Mark. That wasn't planned.
No, that
but
wasn't at all.
Good to hear the answers. Robin and Tom, thank you so much for joining us. You look like a really exciting team to watch this season. I can't wait to be back on one of your games and see what you can do. Been a pleasure to have you both along with us. And yeah, have a good rest week and good luck for Salisbury in 2 weeks' time.
No worries. Thanks very much. Thanks for having us.
And all the best for the rest of the season too.
No worries.
Yeah,
Cheers.
thank you very much.
Yes, a very, very fun interview that we had. I'll reintroduce David, Mark, and Alessio all back to the real time, to the real world. Thoroughly enjoyable to hear that conversation back again. I'm sure for you, David and Alessio, it was good to hear as well, to see how me and Mark did.
Yeah, look, I commend you both. You did very well in our absence, almost too well, I would say. But no, it was a good interview. I enjoyed listening to it, and thanks to those two for coming on, Robin and Tom.
Yeah, it was really, really enjoyable, Mark, and yeah, it was just a good time. We've had 2 nights in a row, me and you together, so let's make it 3 tomorrow. David, you have something for us, apparently.
Well, earlier on this week, offline, we were sort of having our little group chat, and I was a little bit surprised at how one of the panel here had sort of forgotten a little bit of detail about a guest we had on last year. And I thought, are these guys listening at all? Do they pay attention when we have these interviews? Do we respect the guests? Do we give them as much respect as I feel they deserve? And so I thought I would run a little quiz past you guys based on the interview that we've just done. So I don't.
Can I ask? Sometimes I will be honest. Having to move everything, I don't listen as well as I should. Sometimes,
right, okay, so
but I do listen. I listen retrospectively, but at the time, I do struggle while trying to move everything. So let me have that little bit of leeway.
Okay, your disclaimer's noted. Mark, have you got any apologies or excuses in advance?
Nah. As long, actually, if the quiz is about where Sarah Taylor and Matt Taylor played their youth football, I'm all over it. Otherwise, I'm in trouble.
You'd be good at that. And Alessio, have you got anything you'd like to say before we enter this dangerous territory?
Yeah, looking forward to the quiz, David. Let's go.
Okay, this one's just based on the guests we've just had on. Okay, so you don't have to. It should all be fresh in your memory. You guys should.
This is horrible. I don't like this.
You should get 100% for this. I just have to adjust my light so I can see my paper here. Okay, you ready? Question 1. Nice and easy for you. So Tom Monsigneur works for sports college, but not in football. Can you remember which sport
Cricket.
it is that he?
Cricket.
Yeah, I was going to say cricket, yeah.
What's the best way of us answering this, David, by the way?
Do you just want to call him out?
Well, if you call him out and you get it wrong, like if someone blurts out straight away and gets it wrong, then obviously you lose the point. So you might want to just, I don't know if you want to have
so we're working as a team, are we?
Yeah. It's you against the world.
All right.
3 of you against the world.
Right. Awesome.
Where did Robin and her partner first move to when they came to Australia?
Brisbane.
Okay, well done. See, it's dead easy. You do have respect for our guest. I misread this entirely. Robin is a nurse. In which field did she say her partner works?
In which field? Medical.
She said medicine, but that's good enough for me.
I was going to say, technically, medical is nursing.
All of it, yeah.
Or is it? Yeah, that's all of it, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
We'll take it.
You guys are doing brilliant. It's you got 100% so far. 3 questions down. Nothing going wrong at all. I don't know what I was worried about.
I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, I know.
I'm really worried.
Who do Flinders have next in the league?
You got this, Seb?
Yeah, I've got
Salisbury Inter. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well done. Alessio was very quiet, but well done. Yes, well done.
He's just saving it. It's all good. He's got the tough ones.
Against Comets, where did Tom rate out of 10 his Flinders team? What did he say they were out of 10 against Comets?
What was the score of that game?
It was 4-1, but they conceded 3 very late. He said they were at
I
about
think it was
7.
Yeah,
He said
7.5.
No, I think he said 7.5 was this past weekend against NTC. I think he said maybe like a 9,
About an 8 or a 9.
8 or a 9.
I'll go 8, yeah.
Alessio, you might just want to just leave it at 8 or 9. Well done. Well done. Similar sort of question. What out of 10 did he rate his team when they played NTC?
I think he said 7 or 7.5. Yeah.
Go with Seb, yeah, 7.5.
Yeah.
He said 7 or 8. So I'm
Okay.
going to give you. I'll give you that one. Yeah, I'll give you that one. Well done. The language barrier. Remember that conversation when Robin was talking about the language barrier? Yeah. So they're called bibs here. What do the Canadians call bibs?
Pennies.
Tinnies, yeah.
Pennies.
Pennies. Yeah. Short for pinafores. I had to look it up. Short for pinafores.
Ah, like the dress. Yeah, weird.
7
I
right.
didn't even know that.
7 right. Okay. When you guys asked Tom about their ambitions for this season, did he say A, I haven't put a fence around it, or did he say B, I haven't put a ceiling on it?
B.
Yes, a ceiling.
Yeah, a ceiling.
It was a ceiling. Gosh, you guys are great. They talked about.
I still don't like where this is going.
No, honestly, you're doing really well.
I'm waiting for a twist or something.
There's no twist. There's no twist. Honestly.
I don't trust that. At all.
Which council do Flinders United's ground come under when they talked about fencing and so on and ground improvements? Which
Mitcham.
council?
Mitcham?
Oh,
What did you say, Alessio?
Mitcham.
I thought yes, you're all correct. Well done.
Marion, if they said Sturt was down the road.
Yeah, no, you're all correct. Look at that, 100% on course. 2 questions to go, dead easy ones as well. Robin, at the end of the interview, said which other sports would she most likely have done and excelled at had she not taken on football?
Gymnastics.
Yeah, she said gymnastics, but then I don't know if she wanted to continue it further if she got all the back injuries. So.
Yep. See, starting to elaborate now. Alessio, got your confidence up, feeling a bit more comfortable in your play.
Yeah.
And the final question, which I'm sure you're going to get, Tom talked about a game there at the end of the conversation. What was that game called? It was the game that he thought he would probably do quite well at.
Oh, tipping point.
Yes. See, look at you guys. Right, let me count this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 questions I asked, and you got 11 ticks. So well done, the 3 of you. I don't know why I doubted you.
And that's definitely it for the quiz.
That's it. There was no tricks.
Good. I was worried that was, I don't know, going to go somewhere very bad for us.
I was expecting more from last year.
Yeah, I should start vetting what you're going to do sometimes, David. You made me worried there. We'll go through the results as we always do, starting with State League 2. Adelaide Atletico playing a 0 draw with Salisbury Inter. Garn beating Gawler 3-1. Elizabeth Grove a 3-0 loss against Mulberry Vista. And Port Adelaide 1-0 over Northern Demons. Going to the south, Noarlunga beating Adelaide Uni away from home 2-1. A 1-0 draw between Western Strikers and Adelaide Titans. Hills Hawks beating Mount Barker 2-0 in the derby. And Eastern United 3-1 over Seaford Rangers to round out State League 2 North and South. Who wants to go first on whichever games we want to talk about? Alessio, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'm happy to go. Obviously, I was at the Hills Derby, participated in the prior game in the reserves, and they had all props to Adelaide Hills Hawks the whole day. And I think from the paper writing I saw as well, they used a lot of juniors, which was good to see for them. But yeah, they were a different class on the day, won in all 3 grades, and didn't concede a goal as well. So clearly the better side all over the park. And it was, just second best for Mount Barker on the day, which was not dissimilar to other times we've been up to the Hawks Nest. So we're hoping, I guess, for the differing result when they come up to the summit, which has happened in the past few years. But yeah, it seems like they have a really good thing going. Obviously, our former coach, Nigel Gill, was there. He's made a few signings in the off season, and they were definitely looking dangerous. From the first team game that I only watched, I would have said that Mount Barker weren't really in the game in many capacities, and by the time the goals went in, they were too far behind to try and claw something back. There was opportunities, of course, but I think if you look at the whole game as a neutral even, you would say one team, the Hawks, were the better on the side. But in the game I participated in, the reserves one, I think that was way more hotly contested. Nil at the break, penalty saved, some great goalkeeping from the Hawks goalkeeper in the reserves as well. But yeah, nothing more to say. All props to them. And it was a pretty clean affair as well, which is good to see.
Very good to hear. Mark, any that you want to touch on?
No, nothing stood out for me majorly. I saw Eastern get a 3-1 win over Seaford. We kind of picked that they might win. I think Gabs Marco's got his marching orders. So it'll be interesting to see how they cope without him on the sideline for the next week or two for Eastern United. So that'd be interesting. But overall, it was, I think the other result, I think I picked a Garn win over Gawler. I said I've got them as a bit of a wild card this year. So I think maybe they're starting to, they're only a few games in, maybe starting to find their feet a little bit in this league. And will be interesting to see how they progress this year.
Yeah, most certainly. And David, finally, to you, any that you want to touch on?
Just touch on Adelaide Uni and Noarlunga. So Noarlunga emerged 2-1 winners in that game. A goal in the 82nd minute from Mohamed Hamid to win that after earlier goals from Kyle Kraut for Uni and Matthew Visser. I'm not sure if he's related to the other Visser Watt plays in the NPL, but Matthew Visser is the goal scorer for Noarlunga in the 45th minute. But a significant loss for Adelaide Uni, really, as we look at the table, or as I glance at the table just now, because had they got something out of that, they would be sitting top. As it happens, they didn't, and they're down in sort of third spot. So not out of the race by any means, but I don't know that any of us picked Noarlunga to beat Uni.
Yeah, most certainly. As I bring up the table now for the South, Eastern United sitting top with 6 points, as are Noarlunga, although second due to goal difference. Western Strikers and Uni third and fourth. Titans fifth. Hills Hawks with the 3 points after the weekend, and Seaford with 2 in seventh. And Mount Barker still on the solitary 0 points. Looking over at the north, Modbury Vista, 3 games from 3, 9 points from all 9. They sit top very, very well, already maintaining a 4-point gap against closest rivals in Inter and Port Adelaide in second and third. Garn is fourth with 4 points. Northern Demons and Elizabeth Grove both on 3 points apiece. And Atletico and Gawler round out the table in 7th and 8th respectively. On to the WSL, Cove losing 6-0 to Modbury Vista, Stir a 4-0 win over Elizabeth Grove. Modbury Jets beating Western Strikers away from home 3-1, and South Adelaide playing out a 3-2 game against Adelaide Jaguars, losing though in the process at home. I suppose, David, Cove versus Modbury. Modbury, I think we said this last week, and I think we probably will continue at this rate. Look pretty much in the driving seat to almost already get automatically promoted.
Yeah, Modbury look very comfortable. They haven't conceded since the first game when they won 7-1. And I remember at the time we were a little bit surprised that Elizabeth Grove had been beaten by such a big number. But one thing Elizabeth Grove did achieve in that game was to score the only goal that Modbury Vista have conceded to this point. 6-0. I think we all predicted that Modbury Vista might win this game, but it was pretty much all over by half time by all accounts. Goals in the first half took them to a 3-0 lead at half time. Amy Butler scoring in the first minute, and then Ella Smith with a hat trick. So Modbury Vista certainly doing what, or appear to be doing at this point in time, what Campbelltown did so well last year, and that's just swipe aside any opposition. So certainly a very good start for Vista, and it's difficult to see them going anyway but up.
Yeah, most certainly. And a team with plenty of WNPL experience in it as well. And I suppose, talking about WNPL experience, Sturt Lions, Mark, beating Elizabeth Grove 4-0, and Grove still yet to win in the league since the pre-season cup final. A very interesting, weird thing, I think.
Yeah, it's going from memory, they didn't start well last year in the league after winning the cup either. So maybe I don't know what it is. Maybe they're a cup team. But I don't know. They just seem to have gone off the boil. They were pretty impressive in the preseason. I did actually catch a game with them against Souths, and they were quite impressive. So it does surprise me a little bit that they have struggled since the kickoff of the league. So don't know what it is, but like I said, I've seen them. They looked impressive, but at the moment, it's clearly not showing. And Dorber down there has got a bit of work on his hands to get the team going back in the right direction.
Yep, most certainly. And Alessio, just to round out, Modbury, as we said, winning 3-1 over Western Strikers, and South Adelaide 3-2 over Adelaide Jaguars as well.
Yeah, I think some of those results were some we expected, of course. A lot of us, because we got ties in the South, predicted obviously a South win or a draw. But both Modbury's obviously back to winning ways, which is good to see. And I think a lot of us had Modbury Jets women to win. So it's good signs. And the gaps are getting tighter and tighter in those positions now as you show the table, especially for that playoff spot. I mean, it's only a game or two off for some people. So.
Just looking at that table, Modbury Vista, 4 games, winning all 4, 12 points from 12, doing, well, almost as well as the men's team. Both sides absolutely flying at the moment. Sturt just behind on 9 points. Modbury Jets and South Adelaide in 3rd and 4th. Jaguars in 5th. Cove and Western on 3 points apiece, but 6th and 7th place. As we said, Elizabeth Grove still yet to win a game so far in the WSL. On to State League 1. South Adelaide losing once again to Adelaide Olympic 1-0. Salisbury United playing out a 2-3 draw, a 2-3 loss to Adelaide Blue Eagles, and destroying our. I haven't been able to figure out what's like the opposite of a curse. It's like I can't think of the word. Yeah, but you know the word I'm trying to think of, don't you?
I just can't think. If I knew it, I'd say it.
Yeah, exactly. You think about that. I'll continue going through the results.
A trend or?
Maybe, yeah. I'm not sure. Cove beating Vipers 4-2 at home. Fulham losing to Cumberland at home 1-0. Adelaide Cobras at home losing 1-0 to West Adelaide. And Pontian also losing at home 2-0 to Sturt Lions. And I suppose we might as well start with that one with you, Alessio.
Yeah, I obviously watched this game just on the live stream, a bit too far for me to go out to go watch. But it was definitely a trip that the players and obviously the coach as well were very not worried about, like very cautious about, that's the right word, knowing the facility and knowing what they can do on a night game, especially with a good crowd they have. And yeah, as you see here, the first half, there wasn't too many highlights to shout about. But in the second half, obviously they got their game plan correct, and they knew it was such a tight pitch. There's no point trying to dribble the ball into the net and try and get cutbacks and stuff like that. They just knew that these wide areas is where you've got to get it, and if you deliver it in a good manner, like some of these players did for Sturt Lions, they've got the tall timber in the box and the experienced heads to finish it off. So it's that attack at the moment is going to be one of the most lethal in the State League One. Sakani, if he's not scoring, he's assisting. Sortini the same. Tunde got on the score sheet the other week against South with Munro. And even that it's not talked about as much, you don't see him in the clips so well, but the defensive quartet and the goalkeeper have just been fantastic. I mean, I think we talked about in the off-season, Josh Kavanagh moving there from Beergrad. He hasn't been able to get a game because the defense is just that solid, and they've got the trust in the young keeper, Zalan, and you just can't move it. Even you got Lachlan Duffy, an experienced stalwart at the back there. He's having to come off the bench and at halftime or in the second half to revitalise things. But otherwise, the starting lineup there at Sturt is almost impenetrable at the moment.
Yes, most certainly. Sorry, you got me. I wasn't expecting you to finish. I took a bite of chocolate.
While you're doing that, Steve, I just wanted to say that finish from Munro with his head was outstanding. To be able to guide that, because that came in at pace, and to be able to guide that to that far post was very impressive. And the other thing you mentioned there, Alessio, was the height that they've got, and obviously the air ability that they've got to score headers. As you said earlier in the show, they've got 4 goals, and yet the shortest player in the park went and scored a header in Sortini. I thought that was hilarious when you said that.
Yeah, well, he's actually very good in the air. If you actually,
He is.
I've seen obviously quite a few of his goals over the last couple of years, and he just somehow that front post run, he would just get a little
Yep.
flick on there, and everyone's like, "Oh, I'll be able to out jump him," but he gets there too quick, and he's just nodded it into the far post. So, yeah, he's fantastic at that.
Mark, we might as well stay with you to talk about the predicament of South Adelaide this season. Again, it's similar to the Mowbray Vista thing about how every week we're talking about how they're closer and closer to going straight up. South Adelaide, every week looking closer and closer to going down.
Yeah, look, it's not going well for them at the moment. You never know what can turn around, but it's just obviously not clicking at the moment. I don't know why that is. I know they didn't have JJ on the weekend up front. He's injured at the moment, so I'm not sure how long he's going to be out for. But yeah, look, it's simple. I've spoken to a couple of people around the club, and it's just not working at the moment. It's one of those things that can happen when you struggle. And I did see a stat the other day, and I hate to say this, but it was they haven't won a game in 370 days, I think it was. Since they've won one game in 370 odd days. So they haven't won a game in what's that? Just 12 months. They've won only one game. So it's a bit of a worry for the club. Like I said, they're too big a club to go to State League 2. At the moment, I said they've got 450 odd junior players across the boys, the girls, and things like that. So they've got quite a lot of players, but it's not looking great for them at the moment.
Yes, very, very worrying signs for South Adelaide, unfortunately, at the moment. David, just going to you to pretty much, I guess, round off State League 1 if you would like, if you can.
Nothing much to add. I think we've covered it well. One thing I was going to add is I don't know if you guys have seen the reserve table in State League 1, but Start are smashing it there as well. I think they've only conceded one goal in that competition as well. So in terms of their A's and their B's, they're doing very well in a combination, if you like. But as the table now stands, the top 6 sides all had wins at the weekend, and the bottom 6 all had losses. So that wouldn't have been the case before the round started. But aesthetically, it's quite pleasing to see, isn't it? A whole lot of green W's on the right hand side, and then tapering off as the diagram goes down. Not a lot of upsets. I guess that's the kind of the result of the pick that you get there. The visual icons there.
Just going through that table, Sturt in first place on 12 points, Cumberland in second on 9, West Adelaide, Olympic and Cove all on 7 points, but in third, fourth and fifth place respectively. Blue Eagles and Salisbury both on 6 points, but in 6th and 7th. Cobras and Vipers both on 4 points in 8th and 9th. Fulham and Pontian both on 3 points in 10th, 11th, and South Adelaide still only with that solitary point down in 12th place in that relegation zone. On to the WNPL. Adelaide Comets playing out a 2-2 draw against Adelaide City at Ellis Park last Friday. Adelaide Uni having a 1-1 draw against Metro United. Salisbury Inter in a very tough game against Campbelltown, winning 2-0. Flinders, as we spoke about earlier, 5-1 loss to NTC, and West Torrens Burkalla losing to West Adelaide 5-1 at Jack Smith Park. David, we'll go to you to start off with.
Well, okay, you want to? Well, we could talk about Comets and Adelaide City. I guess that's the game that you and I. That's the game that you and I were both at, part of a double header at Ellis Park, or LJ Hooker Mile End Sports Facility, or whatever its sponsorship name is. It's my first time to the ground. I'd been there before, but not as a commentator, and it was a great atmosphere there. The pitch, I tell you what, that pitch is in great condition. As we see Emily Hazelwood opening the score in the 18th minute, and that was followed up just 1 minute later by Valeria Forbes. So an immediate reply from Adelaide City to level things. But look, just to talk about the pitch before the next goal comes up, which was young Juma in the 51st minute, which I think might have been a cross. But that pitch, this is it playing now. But that pitch is, I think, is the best pitch in the league, both in WNPL and NPL that I've seen this year. I'm not obviously including the artificial surfaces in that, but it's just in superb condition. Comets were perfect hosts as well. Demi Pana made sure we had everything we needed. got tables and chairs for us. Electrical supply, we had a bit of a problem initially, but that was resolved quite quickly, and they were perfect hosts, great hosts. And then on the park, Erin Kontutsikos scored the equaliser on the 78th minute. And I must apologise to Erin for the difficulties I had in pronouncing her name through the game. It was an honest and genuine mistake, but I just seemed to struggle with it. And I apologise to you, Erin Kontutsikos, for that misdemeanour. But 2-2 at Ellis Park. And then the next game I was going to talk about was Adelaide Uni and Metro United. It's not a game I was at. Finished 1-1. I think we were possibly tipping Metro United as a majority, given the run they'd been on. Hayden Ingram scoring here directly from the corner. And to be honest, that is perfectly placed. I'm not sure if she meant it or not. It's always hard to tell, isn't it? I mean, are they aiming for the apex of the far post? But perfectly placed anyway, well beyond the reach of the goalkeeper. And then Sarush popping up in the 72nd minute to offer an equaliser for Adelaide Uni. I would imagine both teams came off that ground feeling that drop points. I don't think either of the team would have been particularly content with a draw, given how well both of them have started this year. So, 1-1 between those two at Service FM.
Yep, absolutely. Very, very interesting to see how those games, come in the coming weeks of the year. I will go next. I was also at Service FM Stadium on the back pitch that same day for Flinders versus NTC. NTC, just a very, very strong side, as you'd imagine, how much they train, how many games they play as a group, not only in the league, but, whether it is youth championships and whatnot. Just very, very strong. Flinders, I think, perhaps a little bit unlucky to maybe not get one or two more. I think they were very good, in all honesty, and I think they will be a side that is safe from being relegated for this season. I think the league as a whole, to be honest, is very, very competitive this year. Their goal did come through Cote, a pretty ridiculous effort for her to try and go to. Just shows the quality of player that she still is. And as Tom said earlier, it's great to have her back and just being able to watch her play. Jolie Dowling, who's been very, very good in the past week for Flinders, probably had an off game this day. As you saw, made an error there, which led to a goal. But all in all, I think NTC deserved all 3 points in the end, but I think Flinders maybe could have gotten one or two more goals to make the scoreline seem a bit more close and competitive. And also this effort from Anastasia Simic directly from the free kick. She had one, I reckon, about 15 minutes later as well from pretty much the same area. And she attempted it again and I think hit the top side of the crossbar. So she's got that technique on lock, which is really good to see. Mark, Alessio, any others that you want to touch on from the WNPL?
I was just going to say that second free kick actually reached save of the week. That free kick that she hit, the keeper actually saved it and pushed it onto the VAR, and it was actually put into save of the week. So, just wanted to shout out save of the week while I can.
Yeah, the only one I would probably mention was the West Adelaide versus West Torrens Bacala, the 5-1 win for them. Obviously, some banger goals in there, and even our friend of the show, Nicole Blackett / Tilly, her assist for one of the goals as well. Turned the defender inside out. Didn't know she had that in her as a midfielder in the wide areas. But, put a dangerous delivery in and got a great goal for West Adelaide from the assist. But, a lot of great goals in this game.
I will say as well, it is interesting that so far West Adelaide have a trend of conceding first against teams and then sort of coming back after that. It's quite interesting to see. It was Uni last week and Bacala this week as well. Interesting to see how that will go for the rest of the season. Looking at the table, I need to get it up still because I wasn't prepared for that. Going on to the table, it will be West Adelaide on top with 9 points, having won all three of their games. NTC and Metro both on 7 points apiece in second and third. Comets in fourth with 5 points. City and Uni in fifth and sixth, both on 4 points apiece. Inter and Flinders in seventh and eighth, both with 3 points. And Bocala and Campbelltown with 0 points apiece, but Burkalla in 9th due to goal difference. And just to add on to a point as well, I think this is probably one of the more competitive, at least at this rate, seasons I've seen it in quite a while. I don't know if you guys agree, but I just think there's a lot of teams that are probably worthy contenders so far in that final spot. You know, Adelaide Uni, perhaps after a few years of not being at their highest level, look really good this year. Metro even look to, you know, not finish 6th. I just think it's really good and competitive. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I would agree with you, and I think Tom Monsigneur alluded to that in the interview earlier on tonight, that it is highly competitive and very close at this point in time. And we are only 3 rounds in, but at this point in time, there's only really a few points separating a bunch of teams in the middle of the table. Campbelltown and Burkalla will be looking to try and pick up wins soon because if they don't, they're going to be in trouble. And I don't think Campbelltown have even scored yet, unfortunately. But other than that, yes, tight looking competition, definitely.
Absolutely. We'll move on to the men's NPL. Adelaide Croatia Raiders having a 1-1 draw with West Torrens Burkalla. Modbury Jets losing 3-0 to Campbelltown City. A big win for them. Adelaide Comets, as a part of that doubleheader, losing 1-0 to Para Hills Knights. Playford having a ridiculous game against Adelaide City, but losing in the end 4-3. FK Beograd getting their first points this season, winning 2-1 against Metro Stars, and Adelaide United in the game at Coopers, winning 3-2 against Croydon FC. Alessio, we'll start with you at Modbury.
Yeah, so it was an interesting game. Both teams that were really trying to get some results after some poor results in the recent weeks. And it probably started like a game that was kind of proving why both of these teams are probably not in the greatest of form at the moment. It was very scrappy, not long periods of possession, not many major chances, and then a half chance comes like this where I'm pretty sure Appio was probably trying to control the ball rather than lay it off to Marino there. But the longer the game went and the more the subs came on, especially for, I would say, Campbelltown, with Brandon Santafanti coming on, the more clinical and the more established Campbelltown looked on the park. I mean, some of their periods of play, some of their chances, even if they had less numbers going forward, they seem to just have the quality to keep it alive and keep a massive opportunity going. I mean, where do you see a goal coming from here when that ball is played there? There's 3 in the middle. Maybe the far side player would get to it. But Mark Marino, individual brilliance, I think, is just what took over the day for Campbelltown. Even if not the whole team played fantastic, when you have players like Marino, you have defenders in the back like Alex Mullen who can deputise while Jarvan Alec comes out. That goes to show why they're such a massive team, and you can never write them off. There's the first 3 points of the season. Hopefully, it points them in the right direction. But obviously, they've got a tough cup game to play this week with a few outs as well to a couple of players in Melbourne, apparently. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, most definitely. Mark, ones that you want to touch on?
I saw the back end of the Playford game, actually. I thought that looked... I was chatting to one of our friends during the game, and they were talking about how it's a little bit slow at times, but the end of the game was just an absolute cracker. City took the lead with some great finishing. We thought 2-0. They took a 2-0 lead. Then Playford came back in the second half, got it to 2-2. And we're like, okay, this is on. And then Playford managed to take the lead in like the 88th minute or something, I think it was. Very, very, very late in the game to go 3-2 up. And then it fell apart. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but Adelaide City decided to not give up. And they scored two goals in time added. End up scoring one in the 98th minute, which was fascinating. Because I did ask the guys that were watching before I tuned in, how many injuries there were. Because when I started watching, there were no injuries or anything like that. And they managed to find 9 minutes of time added, which fascinated me in a game that I didn't think had very many injuries in that second half. Orba came on, and you see their pure strikers finished there. He took the armband off Bucco and, had a great finish there, obviously, and that brought it back to 3-0. And then this was the very, very late winner. just a nice, easy, in the end, nice, easy header for young Luca Ullman. So I said, not sure where they got 9 minutes from, but hey, Adelaide City aren't complaining and come away with a 4-3 win.
Can I just add to that Lewis Kylo was the player who put the ball across to look at Ullman. So two youngsters combining there. But what vision from Kylo to see Ullman at the back post. And Ullman's a Hills boy. Not sure if he listens to this show or not. I'm sure he's probably out disco dancing or something on a night like this. But
on a Wednesday.
Yeah. I would imagine. I would have been at 18 or 19. But no, look, I just wanted to make a shout out to young Luke Ullman for the goal. It's a goal he'll never forget. But also to mention Lewis Kylo's cross to that back post was just pure vision to see the opportunity there. I just wanted to add that.
Well, we might as well stay with you, David, to touch on the rest of the games anyway.
Okay. Where do you want to
start? We'll go back to Ellis Park. We'll go back to Ellis Park.
So I went to Ellis Park on Friday night with my friend Seb, and we watched Adelaide Comets taking on Parahills Knights. This game had a great first half, really, and a fine goal from Harrison Conant in the 27th minute to the far post. It was a fine goal, really. The accuracy in that shot, and to beat a keeper like Vaughan with that as well was just superb. He unfortunately came off at half time. He seemed to be suffering from an injury to his hamstring, so hopefully he's not gone too long, because he was great to watch. He had a very good first half. Fortunately, the second half sort of just was a bit of a fizzler, I think, wasn't it? You would agree with me in that one,
yep.
Seb. It just sort of fizzled out a little bit in the second half, and that was a bit disappointing. But a good and a big win for Parahills Knights at Comets. Did you want me to talk about the other game I was at, which was FK Beograd? Or I don't know if Mark was hoping to talk about this as well, but what a turn up, bottom of the table versus top, and a game that I was selected to commentate on. Ended up flying solo. I was going to have a player alongside me, but he was unable to make it at the last minute. Anyway, I forgot about that pretty quickly, because in 14 minutes, Cooper Nunn scored the opening goal, finishing from a loose ball in the penalty box. And FK Beograd just came out the blocks like the team they've sort of been promising to be all year, but haven't quite delivered. And what they did differently this week was they took that first half form into the second half. Nian Kuru winning a penalty after a little trip by McNamara in the box, which Konstantopoulos Jason took and converted with aplomb. And I must commend the back two for FK Beograd, Cooper Nunn and Alexander Banjak, who just did a masterful job on marking Owen Windsor, who did eventually score a goal, beating about 6 players to get the space in for his left-footed shot back across the face of goal to beat Dakota Oxenham in goal. But look, Banjak and Nunn did an absolute job in Windsor. They kept him quiet-ish during pretty much all of the game, apart from that little explosive finish there. And you could tell Windsor was... how can I say? He was unsettled. He was unsettled by it. You could tell at the end of the game, and even during the game, that he was affected by the fact that he just wasn't getting into his rhythm. But I put that down to Banjak and Nunn. Did an absolute job. So a fine win for FK Beograd, and something they've been promising us, I think, for a few weeks, but just haven't delivered. The other thing I was just going to quickly mention was there was a red card for one of the assistants and the coaching staff after a little incident in the bench. The play was held up for a little while he made his way off the park. But I think that aside, FK Beograd would be absolutely delighted with that outcome. Sorry, Mark, I kind of stole it from you, didn't I?
No, it's all good, mate. I didn't get to see much of the game, so that's why it was my pick, because it was just the fact that it was an upset. Simple as that. The way, and as you said, FK Beograd, they've been promising this result. They've been promising this display of football. We've been waiting for it. It's only taken them 4 weeks, but they've got there, which is great. So hopefully it'll now continue for them.
I'll just briefly touch on Adelaide United and Croydon.
Sure thing.
Okay, so Johnny was at that one with Andoni Natsiopoulos as a guest commentator in the brilliant sunshine. About 27 degrees it was. Alex Battistella opening the scoring for Adelaide United in the 13th minute. And then Joey Garuccio getting a second one just before half time. And Adelaide United at that point in time looked like they were kind of cruising along until Passia John decided he was going to alter the course of the game somewhat. He came up and scored in the 61st minute and then the 64th minute with two great goals, which we're about to see to level the tie 2-2 with about 25 minutes to go or so. Here's his first goal here, takes the ball at the edge of the box, little step to the right, and bang, look at that, along the ground. And then his second one, from memory, was from about the same sort of spot, but given air. So one that the goalkeeper had to scramble for. He is same spot, makes his way a bit more centrally, hits it with his right to the... well, it's the same kind of spot, just higher, wasn't it? So 2 repeat goals, and he was on a hat-trick. But it was all undone by Brodie Burkett, who has done this a couple of times, come off the bench and scored a vital goal in the past to make it 3-2 for Adelaide United. So an important win for them, which I think takes them up to third on the ladder behind the top two Metro Stars and Comets, who both lost at the weekend.
We'll go through, I guess, that ladder now. Metro Stars sitting top on 9 points. Adelaide Comets just behind, also on 9 points, as are Adelaide United on 9, also in third place. Adelaide City and Para Hills in 4th and 5th, both on 7. Playford in 6th on 6th. Burkalla in 7th with 4 points. 8th are Croatia with also 4 points, as are Campbelltown, although in 9th. Croydon with their first 3 points in 10th place. Also with 3 are Beograd and Modbury Jets in 11th and 12th. Again, another very, very competitive season brewing, I think. Very, very... Just
and look at West Torrance Burkalla with 4 draws. That's really quite unusual to get to, round 5 with 4 draws behind you, isn't it? They've got FK Beograd next, but yeah, 4 points, 4 draws. At least they're consistent.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd hesitate to predict them to doing a 0-0 this week. After having a 3-3, a 3-3, a 1-1, it's just going downhill at the moment. Not goals,
at least they have a cup game, so it can't finish a draw at least. Well, at least in normal time and extra time, it can finish a draw. They can go to penalties. But speaking of those cup games, we'll go through them. There's 2 games in the WNPL WSL Cup this weekend. All other teams getting a bye as well, so we'll start off with those ones. Elizabeth Grove versus Modbury Jets. Mark, you said Elizabeth Grove could just be a cup team. We might see that this weekend, but I do think Modbury Jets will get over them 3-1.
Yeah, I think, as I said, Grove could be, but that could also just be a preseason cup team. I don't see them beating Jets, so I'd say Jets are going to win 4-0.
Is this us tipping now?
Yes.
Okay. That came out quickly. Modbury Jets to win this one. 4-0.
I'll go 2-0 Jets. And
then the second game, South Adelaide versus Adelaide Jaguars, which was, played this weekend. Very competitive game. I'm going to go a 3-2 win for South Adelaide this time.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Souths win. I did last week as well. Souths to win 2-1.
I'll go with South as well. 3-2.
I'll go 2-1 South as well.
All done for. On to the Australia Cup qualifying games, starting on Thursday night between West Torrens Burkalla and Adelaide City. I'm going to go... This is going to go to penalties and finish 3-3. And Adelaide City will win on penalties.
I'll go Adelaide City to win, but in 120 minutes, 3-2.
I'll just, while I can, give a quick shout out. The fact this game, being an Australia Cup game, we don't obviously get these games covered, but one of our fellow comms teams, Connie, is going to actually get this game broadcast, and he will be on the comms. I think he's going to do it through his Facebook page. So keep an eye out, so just keep an eye out for that on our socials or my socials and things like that. But it's great effort to get a cup game out, which is good. Like I said, we don't get to do those too often. In saying that, I'm going to go with an Adelaide City win, and I'm going to go 3-2 in normal time.
I went 2-2 full time and 4-2 in extra time to Adelaide City.
Adelaide Comets versus Para Hills East. Another very interesting one. I'm going to go for extra time. Adelaide Comets to win 3-1.
I think this one will be done in 90 minutes. But I don't think Comets will win it by a mile. I think Para Hills East are a very good side. They'll probably get a couple of goals, and Comets will probably get maybe 3 goals. So 3-2 for Comets in this one in 90 minutes.
2-1 for Comets in 90.
I've gone 4-2 Comets in 90.
Sturt versus Tea Tree Gully. I'm going to go for a Sturt 4-1 win.
I'll also go for Sturt in this one. I think Tea Tree Gully might get a goal, but I think Sturt might get 4.
Is Sturt playing a full strength side, or are they going to rest players? Alessio, you might know.
Well, I don't know how but I know John Fusco's not playing. He's definitely called it, even if they've got an easier run in the cup, that he's not going to go past 6:45. So I'm going to go, though, a 6-1 Sturt win.
Yeah, a Sturt win for me as well. I'll go 5-1. Actually, sorry, 5-0
as well. With
5-0, Alessio. Sorry, yeah, they haven't conceded. I'm going to.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, at this point, though, I don't think many teams, or they shouldn't be resting him if it's not midweek games, because it's just another week. Otherwise, you've got another 7 days to play again. So I would assume people playing full strengths.
Hills Hawks versus West Adelaide at the Hawks' Nest. I'm going to go for a West Adelaide 3-0 win.
Is this on Friday night? I think it is on Friday night, isn't it? Might pop along and watch this. It's not that far away from me. But that aside, I think West Adelaide will win this quite comfortably. I think it might even be as much as 5-0.
West Adelaide 4-0.
I've gone West Adelaide 6-0.
Mulberry Jets versus Para Hills Knights. Another edition of the Northern Derby in the Cup. I'm going to go for a Para Hills Knights 2-0 win.
I'll go for Para Hills Knights winning this one as well. I would expect they probably rest Harrison Conant for this one, given that he has that hamstring issue. So I don't know that there'll be much in it. It might just be 1-0 Para Hills Knights.
I'm going to go Mulberry Jets 2-1. They're going to turn their season around here. They're going to get the win in this cup, and then they'll kick on from there.
I've gone 3-2 Para Hills in extra time. 2-1.
FK Beergrad versus Adelaide Blue Eagles. I'm going to go for a Beergrad 2-0 win.
I'll go for a Beergrad 3-1 win.
I'm going to go Beergrad 3-2 in 90.
I'm going to go 3-2 Beergrad in extra time.
Gawler Eagles versus Metro Stars, a game which I think I might get along to as well. What?
No, I think I think it's the biggest gap, this one, in positions.
It'd be Comets and Para Hills East.
But there's no lineage of being promoted.
I guess.
And as David says, some of the amateur teams are in a higher echelon than State League 2, so could be higher up than State League 2 North.
Gawler Eagles versus Metro Stars. I think this will be a 4-0 win for Metro.
I think Metro will be angry about the weekend. And I was talking to you, Seb, about this, about, when you're commentating and, goals are being conceded by the team, and the coach whose team's just conceded is within complete earshot of you, not a metre away. It's hard to get really excited and animated when that's the case. But I know that Metro Stars were hurting, and I think they'll bounce back from this, and I think they might make a bit of a mess of Gawler, and I think it might be 8-0.
Wow.
Yeah, I also think Metro are going to actually rest a couple of players. I think they might bring in some of the players that haven't had a lot of game time, just to give them game time, considering they are playing Gawler, and there is obviously such a big gap. But I'm going to go with a 6-0 Metro.
I've gone similar to David, 8-1 Metro. I think the only thing that's worrying me is the pitch. I know Metro play on a perfect artificial pitch week in, week out, and most NPL pitches are great, but going to the Gawler, I'm not sure how they'll play and how easy they'll find it to get the back of the net. But yeah, I think it'll be still pretty easy.
Both teams are playing on that pitch, though, aren't they?
Yeah, I just think that with the players, Metro would expect to be carving teams, but the game goes a lot slower on that grass pitch.
But did you pick 8-1?
I did, yeah. So
that's
only one. Yeah, that's why I'm not going the double digits, but yeah.
The beauty of the North. Adelaide Croatia Raiders versus Elizabeth Grove. I'm going to go for Croatia 4-0 win.
I'll go for Croatia Raiders winning this one as well. I'll say, yeah, I'll go 4-0 as well.
I'll go 3-0 Raiders in 90.
Who are they playing again, sorry?
Elizabeth Grove.
I'll go 6-1 Raiders.
Croydon versus Salisbury Inter. I'm going to go for this game to go to extra time and Inter to win 2-1.
There's got to be a cup upset somewhere along the lines, hasn't there?
I think this could be one of them.
Is that Croydon, you say?
Yeah.
I think my cup upset's going to be a bit later. Sorry, Mark.
I'll go Croydon 3-0.
I'll go for Croydon as well, 3-2.
I've gone 3-1 Croydon.
An all-NPL affair up next. Campbelltown City versus Playford. Of course, they only played 2 weeks ago now, and Playford beat them 4-0. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for Playford.
I'm going to go for Playford winning this one as well, but let's go to 120 minutes and 3-2.
I was thinking the exact same, David. I'm going 3-2 and 120.
I'm going to go 3-1 Playford normal time.
Adelaide Uni versus Adelaide Olympic. I'm going to go for a Uni win. 2-1 after after full time. In extra time, yes.
I'll go for an Olympic win here, 2-1 in 90.
Olympic 1-0, 90.
I will go 3-1 Olympic normal.
Seaford versus Pontian. I'm going to go... This one's a hard one, I think. I'm going to go for 1-1 at full time, and this will go to penalties at 1-1, in which Pontian will win.
I'm going to go for 2-2 after 90 minutes, and Seaford Rangers to score in extra time and win at 3-2.
I'm going to go 2-2 end of 90. 2-2 at the end of 120, and who is it? Pontians, wasn't it?
And Seaford.
Yeah, Pontians to win. I was just trying to get my bearings right on that one. Pontians to win on penalties.
I like how you played the whole thing out and then went, who is it?
Yeah, I had this. I was like, was it Pontians? Crap. Yeah, it was.
I've gone 1-1 after extra time, Seaford on penalties.
Croydon Cougars versus Gun Kilburn. I'm sure Croydon very happy to have a game that's, within an hour's drive compared to last round. I'm going to go for a Gun 3-0 win.
It's a Croydon Cougars home game, so it should be
exactly.
Less than an hour.
Might be even half an hour.
Croydon Cougars certainly used to be a very good Sassel side and knew them well from years ago. I'm not sure what they're like now, but not sure I fancy them here. I think Gan might get this win. 2-1.
I'm going to go Gan 3-0.
I've gone 2-1 Ghana, and I had to note that their usual number one, Sam Crouch, is out for 8 weeks. So, bit of a interesting what their reserve keeper can do.
Cove versus Adelaide Atletico. I'm going to go for a Cove 3-1 win at home.
I'm also going to go for a Cove win, 3-0.
Cove 4-1 at home. 90.
I'll go 4-1 Cove.
Adelaide Titans versus Fulham United. Titans home game, but I think they both play at the same ground, don't they? So technically neutral when you think about it. I'm gonna go for a Titans win 3-1 after in extra time.
Sorry, I need time to think about this one.
I'll go Fulham 2-1 in 90.
Is that enough time, David?
I've lost my sheet. It's Fulham and who?
Titans.
Fulham and Titans.
I'll go 3-2 Fulham in extra time.
Yeah, I'll go for a Fulham win as well. 1-0 in 90.
And then finally, Vipers versus Cumberland United. I'm going to go for a Vipers win. Penalties. It'll finish 2-2.
I'm going for a Cumberland win. It'll finish 3-1.
This is my cup set. I'm going for Vipers on penalties. 2-2 at the end of extra time.
Can you call it a cup set if they're both the same league, though?
Well,
really?
Cumberland are sitting second. Vipers are sitting near the bottom of the table, so that lower echelon of the table. So
I suppose
technically it would be a cup set. So for this, and Cumberland are playing well at the moment. I'm gonna go for what could be considered a cup set.
I've gone 4-3 Vipers in extra time.
Very, very much looking forward to this weekend. Plenty of games. I'm sure we'll be around and about the place. That's pretty much all from us for this week. Anything else to add on?
Do you want to check with Alessio what last week? Because he said there was some interesting results from last week, Alessio.
Yeah, we'll go through. I think this is on points our best accumulative week. Some fantastic picks from everybody. The standout being Seb with 6 perfect score lines.
Whoa!
Yes.
Sorry,
Seb. I said you had some spot ons, didn't I? Last night when we were talking about it, I said you had some spot ons, and there you go, 6, my friend.
What were they?
Well done.
So he had the 3-1 Eastern win.
Okay.
You had in the women's WSL, you had 4-0 Sturt to win. You had 3-1 Modbury Jets to win. In the WNPL, you had 2-0 Salisbury Inter to win. And in the NPL men's, you had Adelaide United 3-2 win. And also, we did predict the internationals, and you had 2-0 Australia in Australia. Oh, no, in the second game, whatever. That was away, yeah.
Yeah, go me. Okay, fair enough.
Well done, Seb.
Where does that put me on the table, though?
So that did boost you to 82 points from 54. Whatever that maths is, it's like 25 points or something.
Good work.
28 maybe.
Which is where?
Well, I'll go through the other ones because, as I said, it was a great week for everybody. David had 3 correct score lines. Perfect.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
He had a 1-1 draw between Strikers and Titans.
Yeah, of course, I remember
he
that.
He also had the 2-2 draw between Comet Adelaide City. Yeah, and he had the 5-1 West Adelaide Women's to win.
I don't remember that.
Wow.
5-1.
You'll see in a second why. I'm pretty sure you had that, David. Mark had only 1 perfect result, and it was 5-1 West Adelaide Women's.
What?
Did we both pick that?
It was. I'm pretty sure it was one after each other that time as well. And the reason they were my pick of the week as well, I had 2-0 Sturt men's to win, and that was my only one. So that puts us on points. We can do it in ascending order this time.
Please do. It makes so much more sense.
On 75 points, David.
Good.
Has that been the top?
On,
Yes.
on 79 points is myself. On 82 points is Seb.
Wow.
And on 95
Right.
points is Mark.
Stupid Mark.
Jeez.
Always on top.
But that was because, like, last week, Mark was 20 points ahead of Seb. So even both
Yeah.
of you had a great week. There was still that distance in
Then,
between.
Alessio,
But
didn't you say there was a rule that the first one to 100 loses 10 points if you're the first one to 100?
I don't mind
I
that
don't even
rule.
know how long it must have taken us a long time to get to 100 last year because I don't remember.
Yeah, but you got to remember
Putting
last
us-
year we didn't do the WNPL or the WSL.
True.
Yeah.
So last year we
maybe-
didn't.
yeah.
We only tipped the 3 men's leagues. This year we're doing all 5.
Yeah, we took note of the WNPL.
We took note, but we
didn't
didn't.
do
Yeah, we
points,
didn't. We didn't count them.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah,
So that's why.
it's looking great, and another fantastic week for all. So that was 10 plus correct winners, and about 10 plus
Seb with
perfect
6
score
of
lines
them.
as well.
That's incredible.
Clubs should just start listening to us, or maybe they are, and just playing out exactly as we want them to.
Well,
Maybe that's what's happening.
You had 5 last week, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay, don't need to
David had
gloat
2,
for him.
Seb had 1, I had 2. So looking in the past here, it's pretty rare. But every time it seems David and Mark get the same correct score lines. So, but I don't think tonight. I don't think you predicted the same one in any of them. So
We did. I think we did a couple. I reckon there was at least one. I reckon.
I have no idea. I
It
wasn't
is what it is.
listening.
they look like they're very close, but they're like 1 goal different.
Oh, okay.
The 3-2 Playford you both said in extra time.
Yep.
That's
That was one I
the
was thinking of. That was the one I
What
was
a
thinking
time.
of. So
What a time! I'm second. The world is great. Nothing else needs to change. Before we finish off, anything else from anybody to add on before we finish off?
I've got something I'd like to say.
Yes, please, David.
Earlier on, you mentioned you couldn't think of the word which would be the opposite of a
Oh,
curse.
yes.
So, look, I don't think any of the words I'm about to tell you are probably the words you were thinking of. The one that sprung to my mind was a blessing. A blessing to me is the opposite of a curse, but I don't know if that's the right word to use in a football
No,
match.
I don't think. No, yeah.
So the others we have are a malediction,
No,
a condemnation,
no,
an imprecation,
no.
or
Lot of-
a benediction.
I'm going to say none of those were what was in my head.
Oh, hang
I'm
on.
trying-
No. They're synonyms. Sorry, they're synonyms. Synonyms.
No, synonyms is meaning the same.
Yes, I was looking for the
Oh.
opposite. I've read the wrong
Yes,
section.
you wanted an antonym.
Yeah, so that's it, an antonym. Blessing, which is the one I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And benediction. Benediction is the only one that's really there. The others don't make sense.
And I've never heard of that word before, so I'm going to guess.
Yeah, and
it
it's
wasn't
not
that
really a
one.
benediction. Is something I associate with religion as well. So, I don't know.
A trend, I guess that's what we use. Positive
If anyone-
trend.
Yeah,
if anyone
maybe.
out there who's if anyone
Lucky
who's out
charm.
there listening, if anyone who's out there has a greater education than us and a better command of the English language and knows what the word is, please send it in to us.
Yep, anyone with a linguistics degree, please,
Yeah.
please message in. I suppose just finally, we hit a 500 followers on Instagram, which is very, very cool. And thank you to everyone for the feedback on the team of the weeks. I had a lot of people interacting with them, sending us lovely messages when they're in, sending us individual messages when they're not in, Alessio. And all in all, it's been fun to make those as well, and just see sort of what people think as they come in, and yeah, look forward to doing even more. Of course, there won't be any this week because I don't think we can literally watch every single cup game. So no team of the weeks for the cup, but they will return next week when we return to normal league play. That's pretty much it from us. Thank you, 3 of you, for joining me once again. A lovely time enjoyed, as always. Yeah, been good.
Thanks for hosting us as usual, Seb. Make sure everybody gets out to the games if they can on the weekend. A lot of games spread over a couple of days, so that means you can get to more than one, and you have to watch them live because there's no live streams. So Make sure you get
Except for
down,
one.
support the clubs.
Except for one.
Oh yeah, except for the Bacala Adelaide City. So make sure
Yeah.
you tune into that one.
Big weekend of football. Thank you, David. Thank you, Alessio. Thank you, Mark.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you all next week.
You will.
See you then.
Alex Mullen to make it 3-1 in the grand final. Puts in the penalty and wins the grand final for Campbelltown City.
No one attacks it. Comes back up to Menendez. It's the goal. It's Tom. And their talisman's got another one.
Derby City back quick.
Jake King. Oh, what a shot. My goodness me.
Can't teach that sort of stuff.
Sends it in. Keeps it low. And it's gone in. It's gone in. LA Uni have scored. In time added.
Tries to get under control. And the shot from Tolland. Salisbury into a 2-0 up.
Neil Butler with another chance. It's 2-1 to Playford. Persistence has paid off for Playford.
One touch the keeper, puts it into the bottom corner. Beach gives him a shoulder after that as well. He's lost his clean sheet and he's lost his head with a red card. David, this is massive.
Skills to make the girls sing and the geezers too. Yeah, we're doing this thing.